Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Tarson and WhiteRa here on Desert Oasis. This is the third game, or what I was told was the third game in this best of 3 matchup between WhiteRa and Tarson. If you haven't seen the other games, well, not gonna spoil anything for you. Tarson spawning as the red Terran player on the south side of Desert Oasis. Meanwhile, on the north side, WhiteRa spawning as the orange Protoss player. So it's going to be Protoss versus Terran once again. Now, a little bit curious that the decals on this Terran command center are the broodling or the swarm decal. So that looks kind of interesting. You'll also see it on the starports as well. I believe every single building has those icons except for going for a 10 barracks. So Tarson going a little bit out of the ordinary, going for a 10 barracks. We'll see if he goes for a refinery right now. Yeah, going for the refinery right now, and it looks as though Tarson's going to go for a quick Reaper harass. Not quite as fast as the 8 Reaper harass, but he will still be better economically for it, even though he didn't go for that super early Reaper. Now, it's all going to depend how effective this is going to be is really all going to depend on WhiteRa and when he gets his assimilator and when he gets his cybernetics core. Zealots are not not very strong against Reapers at all. They're actually fairly weak, and as long as they're in the hands of a skilled player who knows how to micro them, a single Reaper can almost take down 7, 12, 15 zealots if he needs to. So probe now on the move, tech lab already being added to that barracks, supply depot now already placed down, and SCV still being trained up. So SCV now moving on out as that tech lab is going to be added, and in 40 units of time we will have the first Reaper of the day. However, assimilator already down and gathering that gas, waiting for that cybernetics core. There it is, that cybernetics core already being produced. The build time on a cybernetics core is currently hidden by my banner. I believe it's 60, so that is gonna, the Reaper may be able to get there in time to get 1 or 2, perhaps 2 probe kills, but it's not gonna be nearly enough to get the win or to hurt WhiteRa's economy that much. WhiteRa sitting on 18 harvester compared to Tarson's 14, and no orbital command, so that is a straight 18 to 14, and that is a pretty hard hit. Trying to mine when you are down 4 to 5 SCVs. You can take a look at the discrepancy or the disparity between 340 and 560, almost a 200, around a 200 mineral difference. And now that probe doing a very good job trying to fight back. A zealot now coming in. Reaper may be able to get off 1 or 2 kills. However, using that Reaper, very nice Reaper micros, squeezing in between a lot of these places. And now, wow, Tarson doing a great job actually focusing down individual probes, and down it goes. So WhiteRa now evening up the whole entire economic harass. Now with the Stalker in play, WhiteRa's Stalker going to be able to just shoot down that Reaper. Reaper has to run all the way home as it realizes it will not be able to deal nearly enough damage to those probes with that Stalker sitting there. Down over here we have a scouting probe getting taken down, so that Reaper at least got 1 kill worth his weight in minerals, just has no gas equivalency just quite yet. Stalker now perhaps trying to push back that single Reaper. Reaper doesn't want to entangle himself with that Stalker, as that Stalker will be able to shoot him down fairly easily. Back over here, we should have another Stalker being warped in. Stalker probably going to be positioned on that backside as well, enabling the Stalker to shoot down any Reapers before they jump on up. And down goes that Reaper. So WhiteRa correctly positioned and took a gambit, positioning the Stalker over here, and that Reaper just jumped up to his doom. Army-wise, we are seeing that 200 versus 225, and WhiteRa now getting a Stargate. Protoss players really going for an early Stargate recently against, against Terran players. Well, this also could be because this is game 3 in a best of 3 matchup, and it's WhiteRa that I've been watching. So, but Phoenixes, it almost feels like Protoss players, once they got past that mental hurdle of Void Rays and Phoenixes, that those Phoenixes are not good and those Void Rays are not good, as soon as they got past that mental hurdle and started experimenting with them, they found out that they were really good. Phoenixes, surprisingly, were able to counter Marauders, and now Void Rays, as long as they're fully charged and have that prismatic core fully operational, are able to deal significant damage. Void Ray has a range of 7, so those Void Rays will be able to outshoot any of those additional units. Stalkers have a range of 6, I believe. I'm not sure if the Stalkers, if they sit here, whether or not they can shoot down any of those units. Yeah, Stalker able to shoot down that refinery, so that it looks as though WhiteRa wants to supply or gas lock Tarson. Tarson, without having any gas, is going to take significant losses. Already lost one SCV, losing that refinery, and with that full prismatic core online, will be able to shoot down a lot of these SCVs. SCVs just getting killed, and now completely gas locking Tarson. Tarson only running out of one refinery, and even one refinery has no SCVs on it. So Tarson pretty much has to deal with what he's got. A single Viking now doing an engagement, but 2 Void Rays against a single Viking, and that is not going to be good, especially if WhiteRa is able to get that core online. Needs to start attacking something to make sure that those cores do not slow down. And is the WhiteRa going to lose? Yeah, losing that core, so down to a single shot again. And now fighting once again, so Viking doing a little bit of kiting with those Void Rays in order to try to pull them back. Of one Void Ray against two Void Rays against one Viking, and now it's evening up the fight a little bit. 2 Vikings against 2 Void Rays, and those Void Rays now pulling away. Will those Stalkers be able to get a hit off? No, not able to get a hit off on those Vikings. However, the damage has been done gas-wise. Just not mining any gas whatsoever, so Tarson now once again behind. Terran players really need to go for that early Viking now in order to be able to fend off those attacks. Those Vikings with that range of 10, just able to launch those Lancer torpedoes so far, able to deal that damage. Stalkers are there pretty much to try to offer support towards those Vikings, and getting one round of missiles and then pulling away. Range of 10 versus range of 8. Very nice, not just using a simple attack move. Now Marauders coming in from that ground, and once again we have those Marauders trying to come in, getting a couple quick kills in. One Void Ray quickly going to get taken down, however, and those 3 Vikings will be able to fend off that last Void Ray. It doesn't look like that Void Ray wants to engage. However, now we have a Phoenix, so I'm not sure how the Phoenix is going to be used. Vikings are not light units, so no real reason to try to run away from a Phoenix. The Phoenix only has a range of, I believe, 4. So yeah, with the range of 4, he's not going to be able to engage nearly as far as that single Viking. And now that Void Ray still trying to gas lock Tarson. Viking once again going to engage on that Void Ray. Void Ray down, almost losing all of its shields. Marauders now raining those Punisher grenades onto that low ground. One Stalker down to 4 hit points. WhiteRa taking this time to expand while he has the advantage. And also still everything operating off of a single Stargate and 2 gateways. There's no even, okay, Warp Gate research finally being researched. Those Phoenixes trying to do a little bit of an attack. Those Phoenixes have a very, very short range. However, the one thing that Phoenix does have is the ability, or has a very, very fast flying rate. Void Ray not wanting to engage on those units. We have double racks, a single factory, and a single starport, and an SCV waiting over here by this natural mineral in order to try to throw down, in order to get additional gas. Terran cannot operate off of minerals alone. Starport now dropping down a reactor, a probe, somehow able to make it by Tarson's whole entire army, and that's a little bit peculiar. Tarson sitting on a larger army, however, WhiteRa sitting on the better income, and now mining out of here as well, getting some additional, or getting that energy on those Phoenixes, may be able to lift up a couple of those Marauders, and then try to take them out. The graviton beam almost acts like a lockdown from StarCraft 1. The only difference is that it's channeled and only lasts 10 seconds as opposed to I think like a full minute. If we make it a little bit of it, are we gonna get an elevator drop? No, does not look like an elevator drop is in the works just yet. Single Viking, single medevac. I hear the warp gates now being converted from those gateways. So quick scanner sweep, and in comes 3 sentries. So the sentries will be able to cast that force field, perhaps split up the Terran army. The Protoss really have the Protoss race in general has a very imaginative play style. And you know what, I'll go ahead and get into that a little bit later. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between WhiteRa and Tarson here on Desert Oasis.